Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen around the world, wherever you are. Welcome to Magic the Gathering Arena, where today we are doing Grixis mid-range. Kind of control, but also kind of mid-range. It is very much on the borderline between control and mid-range. This is a proactive deck. This is actually a spin-off of the earlier Nicol Bolas version that we did. This deck's been through some stuff, let me tell you. It's been taken apart and torn apart and it's had its numbers analyzed. For anybody who's interested in how it came to this, I'm happy to provide more detailed descriptions and a more detailed write-up later on. But for now, let's just take a look at where we've ended up for now, okay? So the point of the deck is still relatively the same. We want to play Nicol Bolas, and we did see last time that the value package is definitely good enough. Like Nicol Bolas Dragon God, if it stays on the battlefield for a turn or two, you really do just get so far ahead that you should be winning the game. And same with Nicol Bolas the Ravager. It's a threat that's different. It's a threat that already generates value by existing, and then if it eventually ever turns into a Planeswalker, woohoo, you got another Planeswalker. Soaring the Mirthless is in place of Nicol Bolas number 4, 2 mana 1 legendary, and also drawing cards is really good, did you all know? But the major change is, the last time we played this, what we're trying to do is just play a bunch of removal spells, play a bunch of board wipes, and take over the game that way. What I realized is, if you're going to do that, you should just play Esper. No matter which way you slice it, Esper in Explorer is much better at just answering all the permanents. Between Teferi, things like Vanishing Verse, Void Rend, March of Otherworldly Light. Esper just has all the tools necessary to look at a thing and say, make that go away. Farewell is a hell of a sweeper, Devastating Mastery for those that are more interested in that. You can do all sorts of permanent removal in Esper is what I'm saying. So if you just want to remove all the things, play Esper. Why play Grixis? What is red contributing? Other than, of course, allowing you to play Nicol Bolas. Well, you see, the red cards, the really good red cards in Explorer, some of them are pretty fixed. Like some are deck dependent, like you're not going to put Odd Nixilis in literally every deck, although you're probably going to try, given how good it is. Kolaghan's Command, Bone Crusher Giant, and Kroxa show up more or less in every list that play Black-Red, and with good reason. These cards are just incredible. If you're playing Black-Red and you're not playing these cards, you better be doing something really crazy to justify that. But what all of these cards have in common is they're not just there to sit back and do nothing. Bone Crusher Giant wants to hit people, it wants to get in there. So red, what it's giving us is proactivity. We're sacrificing our ability to remove stuff in return for really cool threats that 2-for-1 our opponents, right? So we're getting cool 2-for-1 threats that help us be proactive on top of our discard. So if proactivity is the name of the game, cut down on the board wipes, cut down on the empty fluff of and air of just filtering through cards, jam a few more really good threats in. 4 Graveyard Trespasser, one of the best threats that's been printed in Black in a while. It just does it all. Gains life, exile stuff, gives you value when somebody tries to point a removal spell at it, is relatively cheap, and when it transforms is above rate in terms of stats. It's a 3 out of 4/4. Just does all the things. This card is really good. And then a couple of flex slots. Bedevil helps you kill artifacts as well, which are pretty relevant. There's a bunch of Oni cult anvils and witches ovens running around in Explorer trying to ruin the format. So having more outs to them is pretty good. So that's what the red is bringing to the table. So outside of that, it's still roughly the same old. Bunch of cheap 1-drop removal spells, 4 copies of Thoughtseize, and a bunch of lands, including Xander's Lounge, the most common one. So we are currently playing Best of 1 Explorer event, and depending on how this goes, we will tune our sideboard, and then we'll eventually join a Best of 3 event. But hopefully we can find a bunch of gems here, do whatever we like with them afterwards. So this hand is definitely easy. It's a little awkward on the mana because there's 2 tap lands, but our mana is going to be perfect. We're not going to have any issue casting our spells. So we've got good spells, we've got good early interaction, and we've even got a decent clock if we end up playing against a team as well. I think I am supposed to push this, but potentially not yet. Like, if they don't do anything, I would rather Fatal push a Blood Tithe Harvester, and if they play like an Untold Angle, well, it doesn't actually look like they're going to do anything. They played a few times tomorrow. Not what I was expecting myself Voldaren Epicure. I was expecting Black-Red Artifact nonsense. So this makes me concerned that he's going to have a sacrifice spell for it. Okay, well, in that case, I feel pretty comfortable with jamming a Graveyard Trespasser here. I know the Bugbear's a little awkward on the mana at the moment, but it'll come in handy. Like, I know they're awkward and we don't want to play tap lands, but you really do need mana lands. And Den of the Bugbear and Hive of the Eye Tire, they're both pretty decent mana lands. People are making can't play too many of these. They're not exactly Wandering Fumarole or Creeping Carpet, but they're manlands, and that means we are going to play a couple of copies. It would be churlish not to. They can't really kill this Trespasser off of 1 mana at instant speed. Oh my god. Greasefang, that's what's happening here. Well, we didn't have a removal spell in hand for the Greasefang after using the Fatal Push. Anyways, I should have realized that Greasefang, Greasefang should have been on my radar. If he goes Greasefang here, I'm going to be really sad. Because then we'll be like, yes, I should have saved my Fatal Push. But if he doesn't have Greasefang, it's excellent for us. Oh, that's so good. Because now we get to just exile the Parhelion, which is absolutely incredible. And if the opponent is thinking, well, that's okay, I'll just block it because I've got a Blood Tithe Harvester. Well, hey, I'm not gonna let you. Okay? Also recognize that this is a missed opportunity to play the tap land, but I do plan to play 2 spells this turn, that would be why. We're gonna grab a black. This deck needs a lot of black. You have triple nickel, like you have triple black on triple bullets, and then there are turns when you can that's not gonna be enough. You're gonna be like, oh, triple black on Nicky B, and then I'll cast another black spell. This deck does a lot of that, so I don't even know if I want to cast this Croxa, because then they might just discard something good in the graveyard, but I feel like they're going to discard something good into the graveyard, even with the blood token, even if I don't cast the Croxa, so I might as well cast the Croxa. If it's double Parhelion, I'm going to be sad, but hopefully it's not so bad as well, we don't care about that. So now that it's a Blood Tithe Harvester, we can just go ahead and eat the Parhelion. And then we can slowly get to work on the Blood Tithe Harvesters later on. Alright, if he had the second Parhelion in hand, he would not have, but I didn't feel like he would have. Let's see what he does with this blood token. Man, playing against this Greasefang deck is really scary because they're like, okay, they're not doing anything, they're pretty harmless, and then boom, before you know it, there's 4/4 ingot coming out of his face. That's not half a bad draw, to be entirely honest. Because their Fable isn't actually doing anything at the moment, so let's get this Blood Tithe Harvester out of the way. Not really block. Because now it gives us another thing to do on this turn, and it gives us another way to their creatures. They don't really play any rats, if I recall correctly, so I'm considering playing that or the second Trespasser. Bone Crusher Giant has 1 extra point of power, but I think just keeping their graveyard completely empty, even if something happens to the first one, is going to be a better call. So now, if they discard a pair of Parhelion, and okay, well, nothing relevant to the graveyard yet, thank the Lord. Looks like our opponent doesn't yet have all the lands that they want. See, the thing about these Voldaren Epicure decks is, if your payoffs don't show up or get shut down somehow, then suddenly you're just playing a pile of bad, like 1 mana 1 lands that ping for 1. That's just very embarrassing. Can't even attack comfortably into our 3/3, can it? He's considering it just to make treasures. Like, if he attacks and then he discards a card, to hit Graveyard Trespasser so that it ends up dying after combat, I'm completely okay with that. Because he would be 2 for 1 himself and losing his 2-2. Fatal Push? Okay. Sure. 2 for 1. Absolutely just 2 for 1ing himself here. And he doesn't really have any gas left in the tank either, huh? Because he's got a Kikijiki coming up next, and he's going to be completely hellbent off this. He's going to get an extra draw off of the blood tokens. It is a little annoying how smooth blood tokens make opposing draws. Oh, definitely. What? How so? What? Now do you have a fatal push? You do have a push. You must have had the fatal push before. Just considering casting Dispute first. Okay. So now he's not going to be completely hellbent, and we're not going to be able to cast Croaks either, unfortunately. But if we draw and we can get rid of the last card in his hand, that would be sweet. That is not a Nicky B, but it should still be okay. So let's go ahead and attack, hit him. We'll exile this Thrilling Discovery, only non-unique thing in there. So we take it out, of course he is, and then we'll Bone Crusher Giant, play out Capstone Vents, and I think we're going to hold on to this Blood Chief's Thirst. I do not think we need to worry about killing that 2-2. He already has a treasure, and we have Bone Crusher Giant as well anyways. I am not interested in or whatever nonsense he might get up to now. Also worth noting, if he targets the Bone Crusher Giant, he is going to take some damage, which would be not. Haha, no place. What does that mean? Means he might be planning to block with his Deads of the Bugbear. Okay. Let's blow up the Kikijiki reflections. And I'm deciding to take the slightly more aggressive route because A, he's super low on life, and B, trading is good for us because it turns on our Croaks up. So now we will exile this and this. Only non-unique effects, and again, this doesn't matter. Only creatures and Parhelion that matters. Creatures because of Kologon's command, and potentially Takunuma, and Parhelion obviously because that's literally the entire point of what their deck is trying to do. Okay, it looks like they are on Chump Block duty now, which is decent. We now have 2 lethal threats. I do not like that they have 3 cards in hand. What are they doing? Just not playing anything. Is there a weird combo kill of which I remain unaware? Do you have a way? Do you have a Parhelion plus a way to discard Parhelion? Oh. Oh my. Oh my, oh my. That was a pretty incredible roll. Because now we get to get rid of their entire hand. Because Kologon's command 2-for-1s them. It kills a blocker, and it's like if they have no removal, they're just dead anyways. But then it also enables my Croxa, so I can make sure that they don't actually have anything. Whew! I think a slight error there. If I'd realized that they were on Grease-Tang, which definitely should have been on my radar, I should have held the Fatal Push on that first turn. But thankfully they didn't have it, and Graveyard Trespassers, man, I'm telling you, there's so much incidental graveyard nonsense going on. Just having 4 Graveyard Trespassers in the main to just say no to all of that nonsense just feels really good. Like, can you imagine if we didn't have the Trespassers in that game, and they finally find their Grease-Fang and just play the Parhelion? That would suck. I would cry. And we're on to round 2 up against Spencer. Don't hurt me, Spencer. Very, very, very fine hand. If he's playing any kind of creature deck, this is quite alright by us. This is a little awkward because I want to hold the Fatal Passage for Fatal Push, but at the same time, return on Revolt for Fatal Push, but at the same time, I also kind of want to what is this? Ketria Triome? Yeah, I'm just gonna play the Fatal Passage now. I'm not gonna risk not being able to play my Graveyard Trespasser. And I'm not casting Discover because I don't know what I should be discovering for. I don't know if my phone is even on. What are you doing here? What are you doing here, fam? Are you gonna play a 1-drop mana accelerant? That the plan? Perfect. A Love-Struck Beast, eh? And that's fine. Well, I say that now. Later on, though, it might not be fine. Like, and if this is the reason why I die eventually, then I will laugh. But I don't think not casting Fatal Push now is going to be the deciding factor here. Okay, let's just go Graveyard Trespasser, and then next turn we can discover Fatal Push. Graveyard Trespasser, I will say, not looking the best against this Love-Struck Beast. Now I'm kind of wishing I still had the Fatal Passage to turn on my Fatal Push for it, their Love-Struck Beast, but it's okay, I'll live. Oh, if you're a removal spell and you'd like to point it at my Graveyard Trespasser, okay, no. Unfortunately, that is not keeping double extinction event in hand. That is more than a little off. Polygon's Command does not seem great at the moment, and I already have land. So I'm going to surveil away both of those, and I'm going to draw a Croxa. That is actually fine, because the Croxa turns on Fatal Push. Right now, if they want to hit me for 5, he's welcome to. And then I can Croxa to turn on Fatal Push and kill the Love-Struck Beast. If I had known I was drawing the Xander's Lounge, I obviously would not have fetched for Island, but I didn't want to be stuck in a situation where I didn't have a blue source for Nicol Bolas if I ended up drawing that instead. Come along then, my ducky. What do you have? Beanstalk Giant. My man is on adventures. He's feeling adventurous. Extinction Event tends to be pretty good against adventures because most of the adventure creatures are odd numbers. Troll Innkeeper, Bonecrusher Giant, Brazen Borrower, Beanstalk Giant, they're all odd. This is not the matchup where Graveyard Trespasser shines. In fact, this is a really bad matchup for Graveyard Trespasser because Graveyard Trespasser and what? You're not attacking? Well, that's not good. Oh, we're gonna save the Bloodchief's Thirst for the big one. Had an Innkeeper in. He must have drawn recently, because otherwise I'm sure he would have played it. Right? Back, combat. I think exile the Love-Struck Beast. I don't think it'll matter terribly much. Ketria doesn't, generally speaking, have too many creatures in the graveyard shenanigans happening. He must not have another Love-Struck Beast in hand. Otherwise I can't imagine he's good for that. Not Crichton Passage either. Hoping to draw land, I just forgot. Looks like we're saving it for something. Not quite sure what. Ah. What a disgusting magic card. That shouldn't be allowed, okay? I have no idea why this card is legal in this format. Like, the moment Explorer was announced, I have no idea why it did not just get insta-banned. It's banned in Standard, banned in Historic, all for good reason. This card is horrifying. Like, this card is horrifyingly good. It is not allowable for this card to exist. I'm sorry, it's too much. It's too much. This Absolutely too much. I'm also now very much regretting getting this blue because I can't cast the Croxa. That's another reason. So I think here, going to just pass. That'll allow my Grixis Trespasser to trade against Omnath, and I will still have Fatal Push up for Edgewall Keeper. If he has another fetch land here, it's not going to be pretty. Bone Crusher Giant. Sure. All of these odd adventure creatures do not matter because I am fully planning to Extinction Event this way. Beanstalk Giant, sure thing. Yep, gain the life. This is literally adventures, but like with Omnath. I think maybe I could play this Innkeeper now though. Just to avoid getting a few card draws. Like even though I didn't have to do that. Okay. Let's take a look. See what's going on over there. I don't mind. Bay of Wishes is probably what I'm taking. The others don't matter terribly much. One Crusher Giant and Brazen Boar are both pretty bad against what I've got going on over here. So now, if I attack, if he blocks with Omnath, it turns on Fatal Push, and then I can Extinction Event the next turn. Alternatively, I can just sit back and let Omnath do its thing, because right now all he's going to be doing is game, which is annoying, but it's far from the end of the world. Alright. Gain your 3 life, or your 4 life, is it? 4 life, yes. Okay. Oh. Interesting. So yeah, I think this play is alright. Block here. Pass the damage. Take my ramp, and then push away the Omnath. And then let's... So what we can do here is we can Bloodchief's Thirst away the Beanstalk Giant, right? Instead of Extinction Eventing. Lull him into a false sense of security, hope he dumps his board. But no, he'll probably just play Beanstalk Giant anyway. So let's Extinction Event now. And then we can Bloodchief's the next Beanstalk Giant. And then after that, once he deposits multiple creatures into play, then we can cast Extinction Event again. We could also just get greedy. Sure, okay. Now I think we are going to get a little greedy. We're going to cast this Croxa now and make them get rid of thing. I don't much care what to do. Because this is all just fodder. They're probably gonna go with the Brazen Bar is my guess. Keep the Brazen Bar because that way they can bounce the Croxa. But that's okay because I still have enough left over to cast Croxa. Gonna be taking 9. Not pretty. he's not going to play a Lost Stroke Beast. He's going to go for Brazen Borrower into the Lost Stroke Beast next turn. So now, in that case, we'll have to thirst away that. At least we have something resembling a board presence. We're going to be taking 3 from the flyer, which is not great. 4. So we're dead to like a whisper here. Clover. That's not going to do anything. That's really sure. We need to draw land there, so that we could cast Croxa and do this. This isn't good enough. Because if we had a land, we could go Extinction Event plus Croxa, and then that would have been stable enough, and then we could have slowly tried to pull it back with Ninklebull's Dragon God. As it is, I think we are just dead. One damage really came through, huh? This had been something like a Crux of Fate. This wouldn't have happened. It's alright though. It is what it is. That will be a stupid monster. We almost turned the corner. I mean, they still have Bone Crusher Giants in the deck, so there's still a chance that we just die. But we dealt with a massive portion of all of their like card advantage engines and all of their adventure rush, thanks to the extinction events. But they just got in a little too much chip damage early on. This is really not the matchup for Graveyard Trespasser. Like, Graveyard Trespasser really struggles in matchups where it is outclassed by the other creatures the opponent is playing. Just straight removal for it, it's whatever, you don't care. I'll choose you. See what you got going. Winota, you say. Prosperous Innkeeper is the card that lets them cast the things in their hand. But the only real card I'm scared of is this Seeker's Chariot. I feel like I should be more or less able to deal with everything else. Chariot just generates so much value. It'll trade with a Bone Crusher or Graveyard Trespasser. And still live behind 2/2/2s. It is too good. Oh, that's a good draw from us, actually. We're not going to play a second black. We're definitely going to play this as a resource. So I'll tease you again. They did draw the green. Does that change things? I don't think so, because they don't really have a grade 4, so there's no point in taking this. They can just play Bone Crusher. But the question is, do we care about the Bone Crusher? Do we take it from them, and leave them with the Huntmaster? We just take the Huntmaster and say, you know what, I can deal with the Bone Crusher. I think we're going to do that. I can deal with the Bone Crusher. We don't really have anything in our deck that gets super punished by Bone Crusher either. Stomp doesn't really kill anything. Might finish with Planeswalker eventually, but not eventually. And here we are with this one. So regrettably, this means even if we draw an MtG next turn, cast it, but that's okay. Go to the Scroll of the Huntmaster, and now if they try to Brutal Cathar this, which I think there's a chance they might, like they might want to pay the ward cost to Brutal Cathar this. If they do that, they're going to get absolutely wrecked, because then we're going to be able to Field of Ruin away their Sacred Foundry, find a red source, and then Bone Crusher Giant away their Brutal Cathar and get that. They're not even going to do that. Push is a good draw. Push is definitely a good draw, because it lets me kill this, which I do actually want to kill. I really don't want to give them any treasures, and that lets me attack here. So take the Chariot out of the way. Hit Trespass again. Come on, friend. What do you got? Show us. Show us the goods. Show us the money. Show us what you think. Show us your thing. That is not it. It might be it if he eventually draws Winota. That is the annoying thing about this deck, right? Like he plays all of these things that don't matter, that don't mean anything, and then he just finds a Winota, right? Just finds freaking Winota, and then we cry. This isn't a May. So he has to exile target creature. So he's probably thinking, well, at least it's, I mean, I guess I'm just not getting my 2 for 1, but little does he know. Also, he better have a basic mountain, otherwise I'm going to be cutting him off red. Yeah, you're probably Devil. Not ideal. Oh yeah, exactly. Let's find us red source. Yep. Come along. He did. So now let's combat, attack, eat the Huntmaster. Damage? Now I know he doesn't have Winota, so he would have to top deck Winota. Killing the elves means that he cannot play the Winota. But I don't think I'm going to play around Winota here. I think I'm just gonna... I think if he has Winota and he casts it right now, like if he finds a Winota and he casts it right now, and he gets something good off of the trigger, so be it. You know, it's fine. He will essentially have traded in his Phosphorus Innkeeper for an upgraded creature. Just like that. It looks like none of that will be things I have to worry about, because I will draw, because I have a Bedevil now that is up to instant speed kill Winota. I don't think we let down the pressure, do we? Now the question is, what do we kill with the Bedevil? Not entirely certain, but we'll get there. So let's take that out of the equation and let's save that. Only this, not blocking some of the wood, because they have a reflection of 52 meters and their best interest not to block. So now for me the question is, do I play Bone Crusher Giant or do I hold up Bedevil? He's gonna get a lot of Winota triggers if that's what he draws. And I don't much feel like giving his reflection a bunch of triggers. So, okay. But I mean, right now doesn't. So, and I would just be holding up Bedevil and not doing anything, and that does not seem like a recipe for success. If he didn't draw Winota last turn. He did have the Winota. They always have the Winota. Oh my gosh. They always have it. Never don't have it. My gods. Should have left up the gosh darn Bedevil. Alright, I'm gonna take my lumps. But am I dead? Yeah, probably right. Beyond dead. That's a Blade Historian. Almost dead for the first strike damage. decided to make the winning play, and they top decked the Winota. They didn't even draw it through like loot effects. They just naturally top decked it. Well, we've got one more loss to give. Let's hope to give it in a fashion more sensible than that. But yeah, we did learn. We did learn from this. We learned if you have a removal spell at instant speed against Winota, never let it be. Always hold it up. Really hate these free win cards. Like, hey, if he plays a Grease Fang and gets his Parhelion back, he's gonna win. Hey, if he has 2 or 3 creatures in play and he just plays a Winota, he can probably win. I really can't stand these effects. It just takes away from the fun of interacting with the game, you know. Kind of borderline, but we have we do have double Bone Crusher Giant, so we can't really complain. We're probably fetching a red source here, so that we can cast our Bone Crushers, and if we really need a black source badly, the clear order pathway can be a black source. We're not having to worry about illusions here. Who did you play authority of the consoles? Is there, like, are you just trying to hit on aggro, or is there a combo I'm not aware of? You're just trying to hit on aggro, right? Black. I do not much care for Skyclave Cleric. Hopeful Initiate, sure. So is this like weird mono white aggro with authority of the console? If it is, it is. Well, I have been told that I cannot, as a matter of fact, play untapped creatures. So what should my response to that be? Solid, I don't care. Heliod. That might explain it a little bit, I suppose. We do want to make sure that that doesn't turn on, so I think it is actually sensible here for us to get rid of the Skyclave Cleric. And then we'll go ahead and pick up second black source, Bone Crusher Giant. Authority of the consoles is a bit of a combo with Heliod, but it does require Heliod to activate, which I'm hoping that I won't give him the chance to. We do not unfortunately have anything in the deck that says exile target creature. What have you? I have no idea what that's doing. I'll tell you that for sure. Combat attack. I got none. Sure, let's do this. Tap. Yes, this is really odd. Gain your life. Card. Maybe I should have done that before combat in case he discarded a creature. Unlikely to matter though. Oh, I do not want to be casting Discovery because there is a decent chance I will be wanting to cast Dispersal to reset the Heliod. What is the opponent planning to do if I do not? What is the opponent planning to do if I do not play creatures? That is a good card. That's definitely a good card, and it is one that I will be making use of here. So first things first, let us... Honestly, this doesn't do anything, right? Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Okay, so let's Bone Crush you away. And then let's command away. Target you, get your Mirror Shield. I have no idea why you're playing that, but I will play it just in case. It's all gone. Hit him. start eating away at these voices of the west. And this means next turn, if we can discover our way into land, if we can, I was going to say, if we can discover our way into land, we could also potentially cast Grixis. Opponent was playing very weird mono-white life gain. And our deck does a decent job of punishing slightly less cohesive game plans. This is one of the reasons I like this version of the deck more, because if we were playing the more control-y version from before, then the fact that opponent is dirtling and not doing much, we wouldn't have been able to convert that into anything, but with this setup we were able to convert that into a win. I feel like there were definitely lines we could have taken in the last match as well, where we won us that game. Been thinking about it. Definitely about a dozen different things we could have done. But we didn't, so we lost. We still learned a lot. This hand is a little medium. Like, obviously the spells are very good, but the mana is pretty horrifying. So I'll try one thoughts. See what kicks loose. I see. Under these circumstances, I think I'm supposed to take Charter Course because it lets him discard Arclight Phoenix, but he's going to be able to discard his Arclight Phoenix basically no matter what. But the hope is once he does, we'll be able to eat it with Graveyard Trespasser. So this is definitely a matchup where Graveyard Trespasser will shine. It does really well in Total Director Wall, but that was absolutely excellent. So touch our island here, even though it slows down Grixis eventually, because we 100% want to be able to cast Wrinkle Bowls on curve. I don't think that changes anything. Actually, hold up. That's easier. The reason I was going to say that I don't think that changes is because, like, if he just Lightning Axes away a spell and then gets his Phoenix back, oh, just millions of Phoenixes. Let's just grab the Lightning, because that takes away their discard output. And then with that gone, now our Trespasser is not going to be under immediate threat either. So this slows us down a little, but I prefer this. Because now whatever they do next, I can pull it on command away, and I can start eating away at the graveyard as well. Like, say I can now call against command away a Phoenix, I can now eat it with the Graveyard Trespasser. And if they decide to strangle it and I draw a land, I have either Nicky B or Soren to switch over instead. What are you gonna do, opponent? You're gonna cast Strangle, discarding a card like a good boy? Yeah. Okay, that's one. Do you have two more spells? That's two. Do you have number three? You do have number three. Okay. That was one reason to proxies away their bird. But I also... Oh my. Now I think we're just going to pass. Oh, they're playing a bird? God, we really need to hit this land. So I could, in theory, what I could do is I could say, let's kill a bird and get back Trespasser. This is the safer play. The greedy play is to just hope we draw an untapped land first. But if the greedy play doesn't work out, then we are in so much trouble. We would have drawn it too. It's okay, it's okay. Fine. Next time, we'll get him. So we'll grab the Arclight Phoenix and the Charter Force. And then now, even if they hit us for 3, like this Redder. Oh no, this even, the extinction event on even is going to massacre you, my dude. Getting rid of a Lightning Axe, decent call. Sure. Charter Force, draw 2. Absolutely A-okay by me, friend. But you gotta land? Okay. Could play Nicky B. But it's just extinction event on even. Get rid of both of their creatures. Now the question is, do we attack or not? If we attack, we hit them for 3, but we get hit back by Den of the Bugbear. I think I would rather conserve my life. I will at this point happily trade my creatures for a less for them. Not even going to. Okay, that'll work for me too. And now I have Fatal Push Off for Den of the Bugbear, so I'm a lot less worried. There's no creatures in the yard anyway to kill. Oh no. More 2 for 1-ing. Sure. Absolutely fine by me. And that works out great because now I can Nicky B away the last card in their hand. And then Croxa will almost certainly go on out. Okay, well now they have absolutely no resources. The blue-red deck. It grinds you out by rebuying Phoenixes over and over again, but if you have ways to exile the Phoenixes, Graveyard Trespasser. And Extinction Event as well, must be said, they both did their parts. Okay, he's shouldn't be able to. Wait, what? That was so strange. We cast 1 target instant and 1 target sorcery. You have to cast the instant first. Opponent messed up. Well, now this is starting to get a little silly. We can Nicky B Dragon God them. Or we can just Croxa and hold up push. That sounds safer, so we'll do that. Croxa and hold up push for them. And don't let them get any cards made. Well, Cracking Brick was a really good one. Nicky B could have come down and answered that. It's not like he couldn't have. And we've been playing careful so far. No reason not to play careful now. We'll only keep the Graveyard Trespasser in case we ever get it back with the full round. Held the land, punished. Now I don't think there's really any sequence of draws that can get them out of this one. Should be ours. Because even if they draw Burb, they're dead. They'll have to deal with both of these creatures. No, that's not it. Didn't even get to go out on his own terms. Shark didn't kill him. on to round 4. Again, a fine hand, assuming we're up against a creature deck. We've got all the removal that our little hearts could desire. If we're not up against a creature deck, then we might be in trouble, because this hand only kills creatures. But, aha! Little did you know, creatures are meant to be killed. Nice. Even do it on the bugbear. We'll use a butt chief first, so that we can potentially instant speed fatal or something later on. It's unlikely to matter. Also, if we use too much of our spot removal, we will not be in a good spot to use our extinction event later on. So we'll watch out for that. Paradise Druid. It really feels like Bone Crusher Giant is going to be very good in this matchup, so I'm not going to fire it off yet. Just going to hold on to it. We also are very much on track for Nicky beat. Okay. Pass. My turn. Yeah, I think Extinction Event on even. It's fine. Both of their mana generating creatures. I don't know what they're going to do, but I want none of it. Now they're back to playing fair. Paradox Engine. That's what they were doing. See. Well, that's not doing anything at the moment. And it's not going to be doing anything next turn either, so I think we'll take a turn off of killing everything this turn to get our Nickel Wolves online. And then hopefully we draw Prolong's Command, but if we don't, we can definitely just bedevil. Flexibility on this card, incredible. Non-mana permanence, not going to do anything. You have no mana critters, so you play that. That was an amazing draw, but I don't think we're even going to be doing that. Actually, I think we are going to be doing that, because Paradox Engine isn't threatening anything right now. Oh, Agent of Treachery. Okay, well, pretty happy we did that now. So let's smack in, and well, if I'd known I was drawing Island, I wouldn't have cast Clear Order Pathway as I did, but it's alright. Not going to attack. Probably a smart call. I will do this in case I need to kill that stupid druid. So I'll hit you for a bundle. And before you can get up to any consequences, I'll bedevil away your Paradox. Agent of Treachery. Okay. I'm gonna grab a hold of my Nicky beat. Unfortunate that we had that draw. Not terribly much we can do about it, however. Is there much sense in So he's gonna steal. Is this an untap, does it? No, it doesn't. Okay. So if we attack in, well, we can just attack with hives anyways. Okay. Well, let's just kill this Paradise Druid, and then we have to hope to find a removal now. Ah, instant regret. Could have held that. So now we have choices. We can either attack, but that leaves us unable to cast Bone Crusher Giant. Not sure what to do about this one. Man, that Agent of Treachery off the top. With the Paradise Druid that we couldn't remove. It's getting a little awkward. But I think overall we'll be alright. We have to develop our own board though. So let's do this. Now I'm feeling like killing the Paradox Engine was a mistake. But it's okay. Spark Double! Is this for real? Not that it matters, but Revolt says what specifically? If you had a control left battlefield, a permanent went over to the dark side, but it didn't leave the battlefield. It's not even going to threaten. Why should he? Okay, that's not horrific. Graveyard Trespasser. Eat an agent. Pass the turn. Actually, no. Smash. If you want to trade with Nicky B, you can trade with Nicky B. You're gonna trade with the agent. Fine by me. Completely fine by me, as a matter of fact. Get rid of my own Nicky B, though it hurts me inside. Now I bet he's wishing he hadn't tried to be cute and take my Hive of the Eye Tyrant. He can't activate it. No, he can't. He needs mana of any color. Bet he's wishing he'd taken my Bone Crusher instead. So this has been a pretty unfortunate game given the double agent draw, but it's full that it hasn't been not an interesting game. It's certainly been interesting. Is it worth attacking with Den of the Bugbear? I don't think so. Just attack. Eat the Spark Double. Is he going to block? Not going to block. He's hoping to draw another Spark. What do? We think we just have to hit his face, play the Bone Crusher, and hope he doesn't have anything. He drew really hot for a couple of turns. Will he break? He will break. It's technically a blocker, so it's not a complete brick. Oh. That does it again, though. That's so silly. We can get back. Bone Crusher for the Robins. Beauty of having reach. Like, we only needed to deal 2 points of damage anyway, so we didn't need the Bone Crusher because Graveyard Trespasser would have dealt 1 point of damage no matter what. I'm pretty happy with that win. That was quite something, that game. It's exceedingly swingy. If I had realized how useless Paradox Engine was going to be in his deck, I would not have, like, at least with this current draw, I would not have bothered with it. I should have just saved the Bedevil. It bought a lot of time, all of those Agents of Treachery. The fact that Agent of Treachery is a built-in 3-for-1 is really annoying. Like, he's answering a threat, he's stealing one of your threats, so he's presenting a threat. So Control Magic was always a 2-for-1, and then there's a 2-3 body. So second mana 3-for-1, it's so upsetting in a pair match. It's not as bad as something like, say, Genesis Ultimate, but it's still pretty bad. We didn't turn on Thoughtseize because we might not. Because we're playing against Yorion, so there's no reason to rush it. Probably not going to use the cast Bone Crusher on turn 1. Which of this matters? I want to say Shark Typhoon cycling, Fatal Push deals with that. Draws him a card, but it's whatever. This game will not be decided. So let's just take the Shatter the Sky, because that is the only card he has right now that can actually answer our stuff. And then we'll just crack a fetch, grab a black land to ensure it's triple black from Nicky B. And then we will just go ahead and start running out of I know we're not getting the stomp value, but the stomp value really shouldn't be bad. And if he's going to find another Shadow of the Sky now, then that is sure. That's his point. We can kill once from some of that next turn. Memory Deluge. No, what we're hoping for. Combat. Try and hit you. Now what? I think now we pass. Let him cast his Deluge. Like, committing too much to the board when I know he's going to be seeing 5 cards in the next 2 turns. Like, he can find 2 from the top one and he's going to draw a card. So he's probably going to have answers to my board, including another sweeper. So that seems very ambitious to try to just establish a board state in situations like that. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to go for this Kologon's command and we're going to have him discard a card and we're going to buy back our Bone Crusher. So he discards and we buy back a Bone Crusher. This isn't going particularly great at the moment, but we will be okay eventually, assuming we draw lands. Like, our engines can keep up with his. I'm not concerned about that. My turn. So he's playing Absorbs. So this is very much a pure blue-white control deck. Not Typhoon, Shark Typhoon. Alright, I'm gonna run out one of these Trespassers, because I'm not applying enough pressure otherwise. I mean, at this point, if he doesn't find it, we will get to deal with at least one of these deluges. We'll be able to stop the time. This is a matchup where the game gets much better post-board, so I think this is where it will end for us. Depopulate. That's not good for us, because that doesn't even draw us a card. Unlike Shadow of the Sky, which would have. I will go ahead and run out another Graveyard Trespasser. I don't think they should have a counter spell for 2 mana that can target the creature. Moment of the Sea, sure. These Fatal Pushes are completely dead. I spoke for you're not that it's not that it's unwinnable these games by any stretch, but you need to draw the right cards, and they are equipped, like they have the right cards.
If you show remorse, I'll show. You know
but
what?
This does mean we will potentially get to kill Tap Tap, which is good. Because I'm going to stomp Tap Tap. Counter magic up.
Time.
And now he's going to untap 2 lands. That's fine.
As soon as I think of one.
I highly doubt he's going to have instant speed. Oh, that was an extremely good draw. That's easier. Let's take a look, fam. You're going to cycle the Shark Typhoon in response, buddy? And all these useless Fatal Pushes waiting to go. Oh my god. So he cannot cost Wandering Emperor right now. He can only cast March of Otherworldly Light. So let's take that. That guarantees that we can keep protected. And this way we can also get rid of that Memory Deluge, the pesky Memdel. Yeah, that's all 3 deluges exiled, which is great. No, proxy for us, unfortunately. Yes. We are not going to let that guy block. So now, if we don't do anything, he can just play Narset, and then he can still have Wandering Emperor up. If we do play the Bone Crusher Giant, he can just Shadow the Sky, draw us a card. I'll draw a card. Force him to use a Shatter. It's technically still a 1-for-1. And he's going to have but it's still fine because here, whatever he finds, Hive of the Eye Tyrant can still finish off concept, so we're still in there. The 4th Memory Deluge. Sure. Get him. Get him, Tiger. Get this Tef out of there.
Such violence is upsetting.
Alright, well, he's gonna get very full value off of this guy. Oh. It's not bad. Stops me from attacking with Hive. Not that there's much point to attacking with Hive. Wandering Emperor deals with that quite annoyingly. Let's get a red. Black. I don't think that means we shouldn't attack with Hive though. I think we should still make him use the Wandering Emperor. Get rid of this, and then he's gonna Wandering Emperor down our Hive of the Eye Tyrant. But now we can... It stops him from deluging this turn. So now what we can do
is what you get for hurting my people.
Hologun's command down the Wandering Emperor, buy back our Graveyard Trespasser, and eat their Memory Deluge. That's the plan.
Show them how we greet our enemies.
In which case that'll be annoying. Yeah, Urine's gonna reset it. Oh, and he's gonna get to activate.
I'm never done.
Probably gonna make a samurai though. Yikes. This matchup, like, you're not expecting to win matchups like this
now you've done
in game 1. You can, like, if we had our Planeswalker draw, that's definitely something we could have done. Like, now...
Strike fast and strike hard.
I don't even know what sequence of draws would be. It probably starts with Nicol Bolas. It's not Nicol Bolas. Is there any point in continuing? It's Memory Deluge, Yo-Yo, or no. No, we're dead. We're very dead. Alright, well, it was a good run, fellas. It was a good run. It could have been a better run, potentially. But I do feel like we got to show off a little bit better what Grixis is capable of doing. And I definitely think there were a couple of places where the pilot, yours truly, could have performed significantly better than he did. No massive regrets, though. Well, no, one massive regret. I would have liked to get those 2 packs instead of that 1 pack. But it's still alright. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you learned something and at least just, you know, started getting into the feel of the new format. If so, that's a job well done from me. What do we get from this Ravnik Legions pack? Our thoughts upon. Until next time, we will be back with more Grixis Control content.